My name is Amara Wynn, and you are here with me at the author series Between the Margins, where I sit down with indie authors and talk to them about their books, their writings, what's coming out new. There are a lot of amazing indie authors that are out there who have yet to be discovered by readers. So we would love for you to take a chance, go down into their bio or to the description and find copies of their books. Make sure that you leave reviews. Today's interview is with a poet. He has published some works, some self publishing, but he's also a poet, and we're talking about his upcoming release that he's hoping to get traditionally published. And his name is Ectorius Angel. And I do want to give a couple of heads up. We do talk about political issues and self harm. So I think it's important that we go ahead and give that trigger warning up front. But it was a very good conversation. I had a great time talking to him. He was very insightful. So I'm hoping that you will give it a chance. Also, I myself am an indie author. My book, More Than I Expected, which is a contemporary romance with some humor, also deals with some heavy topics. It deals with issues such as grief and past trauma, anxiety, mental health issues, but it is still a contemporary romance with some chaotic energy about a woman named Sydney Benton who doesn't leave her house so much. And she signs up for an accountability app, much to her dismay, because her best friend made her. And she partners up on the accountability app with a man named Elias. And Elias just happens to be the man that she almost kissed on New Year's Eve. So it is a lot of fun, and it is available on Kindle, Kindle Unlimited, and you can get it on paperback through most major book outlets, or you can buy it from me directly and get a signed copy where you can get lots of bookish goodies. All the links for everything will be below, so please make sure that you check that out. And let's go ahead and and let me just go ahead and say our intro music and our outro music is by DBC Guitar Stylings. He is an amazing musician, and he just happens to be my husband. So I'm very proud to have his music on this podcast, whether you're listening to YouTube or you're watching this on YouTube or you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or any of those. Feel free to give it a like, a share, a comment, something. Because this is still fairly new. I've been doing it for a little over a month, and you got to get seen in order for these authors to be seen. So please consider liking, subscribing, doing the whole thing so we can get it out there to everybody so they know that this exists and they can learn about all these amazing authors who are doing such amazing work, and they're their own team. They don't have marketers. They don't have a big team behind them. Sometimes they may not have editors. They're having to do everything themselves as a one-man show. So it would be great to show them some support. Some of the best books I've read this year have been by indie authors. So let's go ahead and quit talking about me and go ahead and jump straight into the interview. Hello, my name is Amara Wynn, and I am here with Ectorius Angel. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you for asking, and thank you for this interview as well, Miss Amara Wynn.
I'm really excited to have you here, especially since you're my first official poet, which is very exciting. I mostly do a lot of fiction authors, so going into the poetry territory is exciting for me. Now, if you give me a second, I'm going to read your biography. I'm going to attempt to read your biography.
By all means, take your time.
We're going to give it a shot. Okay. Ectorius Angel is a Lithuanian marginal poet and classical author whose work weaves themes of displacement. Oh, this is almost sad, by the way. I feel sad for you reading this. You know what? I'm having said that, I actually read your poetry, so that makes sense. Weave themes of displacement, impermanence, and the unsaid moments that shape human experience. Raised across Europe and now residing in Norway and Hong Kong, he draws influences from spanning the Eastern traditions to Western Romanticism. His writing reflects a deep appreciation for minimalism. I can't live with that. I am a maximalist at the
I
core.
love minimalism. I absolutely love minimalism.
Oh, we're not going to get along. It's going to be fine. Resonating with the balance of light and sound, often evoking nature's shifting seasons through vivid imagery, truth. Angel conjures tidal waves and gentle landscapes using water and rain as metaphors for emotion and capturing beauty in fleeting moments. This connection to nature underlines his explorations of nostalgia, loss, and the sense of being a ghost, an observer in a distant world.
You read my work. You can go more in depth in that. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I have read your work. First of all, let me say, I'm going to ask some questions about your bio too, so I don't mispronounce names.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but your work, thank you for sending it to me because I haven't read poetry in a long while. Y Even though our lives are obviously very different, it is going to connect with so many people in so many different ways because I felt it into my bones. That's probably the highest compliment that I can give somebody.
I appreciate it. Thank
I
you.
felt it in my bones. It is very what's the right way to word this? It is very touching. Oh, the whole thing just went weird. My whole screen just decided to go crazy. Okay, there we go. Um yeah, technology and me today. It's very dark in a way
Yes, yes.
and insightful in a way that I think people are going to relate to. So I'm actually very excited to talk about it. Can you tell us a little bit about your inspiration? I know that you're living currently between Norway and Hong Kong. How does that happen?
It's my partner is in Hong Kong and the life we want to is, in Asia. Whereas Norway, I have a family member. Usually I would be okay with going anywhere in the world in general, but because Norway, I have one of our oldest family member, which is my grandmother,
I gotcha.
bless her. So it's sort of like it's easier to go to the country you have someone in that you know and that is your family than it is rather to go somewhere you live and you have your home and you have everything else, but you're just alone. There's nothing to really bound you and connect you to it. So there's
That,
really like there's no point in going there essentially then.
that makes sense. So, and you have a wide variety of inspiration that you draw from. Can you give us a couple of those?
One would be F. Scott Fitzgerald. I began reading his work when I was very young. Well, not a very young. Before his work, I started reading, I think, a book about the Templars and the Knights. Way old book in that was published in, I believe, as far as possibly 2001 or before that, maybe even way before that. Don't
How
quite
old
know
are
the
you?
date. I'm 27.
When you're saying a really old book and it's 2001, that makes me feel so old. Is
I'm
2001 an
27.
old book?
Well, I mean, for publishing days, it's already 2026 now, so it's already been 20 years as is. So that's 20 years behind, so to speak. But
What
no,
was the
26
book?
years. Uh, don't know anymore. I just know that it was about Templars and it was very popular. Very, very, very popular book regarding a story about the Templars. And everyone read it. Some people disliked it, some people loved it, but it was very, very popular at the
Was
time.
it by Brad somebody?
I don't know.
It's gonna
I
bug me.
genuinely don't know.
Okay, I'm
But
sorry.
I know,
F. Scott
I
Fitzgerald.
genuinely know. Yeah, well, I just know that at the time it was extremely popular. So like I read that book and that sort of got me into some things. But the other inspirations were also F. Scott Fitzgerald, Yuko Shizumimu, Osamu Dazai, because of his book No Longer Human, and also of course his tragedy story of him ending his life and the way he lived as a person. So that sort of draws a lot of things. Um, what else can I think of? Oh yeah, Haruki Murakami. My partner and I both read Haruki Murakami a lot. She has a few books, and there was recently a book that we got in Hong Kong as well. Um, I mean, I draw a lot from a lot of places, really. Jordan Peterson for psychology because I like psychology that is more ruthless and less gentle. If I
True.
read psychology that is very gentle with you, it's like, oh, self-healing this, self-healing that. It's like, no, give me something grounded in reality. What can I actually do? And, I love psychologists like Jordan Peterson because they're more grounded. I like philosophers, so I'll go with any philosopher from Aristoteles to really anyone to Marcus Aurelius, the king who was also a philosopher. I love travelers. Herodotus' ancient travel book. the Book of Herodotus, or more or less. I love hell conquerors, Alexander the Great. God, almost every influence I can think of is either Asiatic, which is everyone in Asia, from poets to authors to painters to whatever, to classical painters in Europe. I grew up with a lot of different things, really a lot of different things. So it ranges from paintings to classical literature to ancient literature to poetry to politics to philosophy to medicine, technology, linguistics, anthropology, archaeology, you name it.
You sound like my kind of people who would live in this house. My husband we went to Europe just so he could see the art. He was very like
It's
that was his
yes, yes.
dream was to see the art. And every time we travel, we usually base it around some sort of art trip because that's his life, music, medicine, and art. Those are his like big passions in life. And
I
for me,
applaud that.
it's
I
yeah, I
completely
did
applaud
too. And for me, it's like the philosophical, the psychological. I mean, I taught sociology and psychology in college, so I yeah, you seem like a nice blend. Like you could have been our child. You could have been our child.
that. What bit of a strange way to put it, but sure.
You got a nice blend from both of us. So yeah, you would fit in great here. I let's just go ahead and jump straight into your book. It's going to be a book, correct?
Eventually, yes. I plan to make this into a collection. It's just going to take maybe a year or two until I can, sort of work it out as I go.
It's you've already had a really great start. It's an elegy of the traveler's sorrows. The collection kind of opens up out the gate with "Let them see eternal," and you had this line. I'm gonna have to pull it up because I don't want to mess it up.
I have it here as well.
Yeah, okay. I am bleeding on the page, and so is everything else. Can you talk about what pushed you to write this particular collection, and what does bleeding on the page and so is everything else mean to you?
Well, now that line has been edited out, so it's not there any longer.
Well, put it
It's
back.
eventually. No, I mean, I talked with my lecturer about this, and we sort of agreed that some lines should maybe be cut down for editing purposes and such. But um, I wrote this. That would be good couple months ago now. I didn't write this recently. This was written a good couple months ago. I, at the time, was applying to a university here in England. I'm right now in England, as is, because I'm finishing up my first year for a second bachelor's and such, and all these things. Um, I was at the moment in Hong Kong, and then I had to, go home for a little while and then go to Norway and other things. But before I did all of that, I was in Hong Kong and I was writing about Hong Kong first. So I have a whole collection already written about Hong Kong, the entirely separate thing. And then after that, I was sort of there's some days where I was by myself, and because I was in Hong Kong without specific work or like I didn't have an entire life set out in Hong Kong just yet, so I had time to write. And so I was alone. I was more or less sitting around beside a beach because the area that we lived in Hong Kong is beside a beach. Um, and there's this little place right downstairs in the place called Gold Coast, where it has this little bit of architecture that's sort of European inspired, but also sort of have you ever been to Bermuda? No, let's say the outer islands, the Americas islands, or for example, Bahamas or
Yes.
whatnot. So you know those like colonial style buildings that still exist, but they're beautiful, but you know they're colonial, but they're beautiful. So they had that kind of style mixed with European style, and then you have this little terrace upstairs overlooking the beach and several ships. And I wrote most of my time in Hong Kong. That's where I was writing every day. Every day I would just kind of like get up, start my day, go down there, look at the little birds that come in, and then write and begin writing. And I also own birds, so just so you know, there's a lot of like synergy there. Um, and it originated with me feeling like a foreigner because I'm always been a foreigner. I don't stay in countries long. I don't like staying in countries long. I don't like belonging in cultures because I don't feel at home in any culture or place. I speak several languages because linguistics is my main career. So languages and linguistics, that's where my career goes. And it sort of started with the idea of I am an outsider. I'm always going to be an outsider. There's nothing that can change that. I can try as I might to fit into any culture. And perhaps I could, easily so, because I know the languages, I know how to live there, I know how to coexist. And, it's easy to do that if you know how to do that. But at the same time, I'm still going to know that I'm not one of them. I'm never going to be one of them. I could be American oh well, no, I could pretend to be American, but I would still never fit into America because I'm not American. I could be from Africa and still not fit in with them, even if there are white or black people both in Africa. Even if there's like a big mixture of foreigners or white people or black people, whichever, there's that big culture mix because you have a lot of people going to Africa now. But even then, as a foreigner, amidst foreigners, I still wouldn't fit in. I'd still be this distant, strange person who's just there. And you see this person and you talk to this person and it's fun and games and you like talking to the person and it's jolly because that person is jolly and you're jolly and everything's good. But end of the day, I know I am going to be on the outside. There's gonna be a wall. I'm never gonna be part of something. So for me, those poems originated with that and the whole idea of, well, I travel a lot, I go to countries a lot, I speak different languages, I learn different cultures, so I sometimes deal with, the whole thing with having a different passport, having a different name, my author name, which is also not common as is, which is also my name, and, there's that side of you where you write something in the midst of your despair, and it doesn't matter how hurtful it can be. Doesn't matter how painful it can be, even, but that despair, it's there. It exists. And that sort of came to be, and I was like, I have something I want to write. I've, there's something I just need to get out of me. Now I have to get it out of me. Wasn't even for anyone else's eyes. Wasn't intended to be for anyone else's eyes. Only really intended for my partner and me because she's really the only person allowed to really read anything private I actually write. But yeah, that sort of came to be that, and eventually I decided, I'll use this for university as well, so why not? Might as well. And then it was like, yeah, I might as well make it a collection and actually publish it at some point.
It's definitely publishable. You're talking about traveling so much, and there was a line that I remember, and it was endured 1,000 lives within one body. And I'm just wondering, why do you travel to these different countries? I mean, I understand not fitting in no matter where you go, but what's taking you from place to place?
I grew up that way. I didn't grow up in staying in one country. We moved very early on from Lithuania when I was 4 or 5 years old, I believe four. We moved to Germany and Italy and guys, I don't know how many places we've been to, but I followed my mother a lot, by a lot when I was younger, and we had to travel a lot. Sometimes we lived in Italy for a little while, so I was there for a long while. So now, I also speak Italian and all that as well. We traveled to Norway, we traveled to other countries and stuff as that, and then sort of it started from there. I was never someone who could stay still, and I was unruly. I will tell you right now, as a child, I was really, really unruly. uncontrollable. I was bad. I misbehaved. I fought with people.
Nuh-uh. You seem like such a nice guy.
Oh, I dare say I was not. I was not. I was horrific. I was absolutely horrible. I know for a fact because even my mother had a horrible time really with me growing up. I was horrific. I was really, really bad. Misbehaved constantly, was too curious about everything, and I'm still too curious about everything. I will constantly ask questions, which is annoying as hell. I will say that no matter what you do with me, if you're talking to me casually, say you and I talk outside of this podcast, right? And we eventually become friends or acquaintances in a professional manner. And if you're gonna be talking to me, you're gonna notice like almost every 2 to 3 sentences, there's gonna be always a question. It's gonna be the most annoying thing because you already know it's gonna be the most minute thing or most useless thing to ask you about. But I'm still gonna ask it because I'm that curious as a person. I need to know. I want to know. Give me give me an answer. Give me this. Give me that. And it's an annoying habit. It's a really, really annoying habit.
At least
But
you know this about yourself.
well, yeah, yeah. It's like it's a very annoying habit, but it's what came to be from the childhood I had. It's you grow up having to go from place to place to place to place, and then you don't have a mother tongue, you don't have a mother country. For example, by birth, I am Lithuanian, but do I really go back to Lithuania? No, I don't really go back to Lithuania ever. I haven't been back there since I believe I was 15. I visited one time to meet my father, who wasn't there in my life. Met him once. Don't remember anything great about him. Not really. And that was it. That was sort of it. The only memory I have of Lithuania is I went back one time when I was 15 to meet my father again. But I didn't have many memories of him before that even. So all I knew were pictures from my mom and what she told me about him. And yeah, that's it. I never went back after that. So I only went back for like I believe like a week or 2 weeks into Lithuania, and that's it. And that sort of created that foundation of I need to go. Doesn't matter where, doesn't matter why. I need to go. I I need to go. Even in high school, if there was a trip you could go to that was outside of the country, I was the first to immediately go to my teacher and be like, please, I have to go. Add me to this. I have to go. And I'd go. We went to Sweden. We went to all these other places. I went to other places as a young boy too. I just have to go.
How does your partner handle that?
So my partner now is someone I'm staying with permanently after many years of trial and error, but is someone who I love deeply. But the people I was with or partners of the past rather didn't work out well. I'll say this. There was always the question of what do you do for work, which I can't speak about. So there was always that. Like I did jobs that I couldn't really speak about, even to my family. I couldn't really say what I did. Um, there were things that I did that weren't allowed for me to speak about publicly. They were classified as well. So there was always that sense of I'm home, and then you have this stranger come into your home who you do love, but there's gonna be that line where you like there's a little bit of a wall and you're
Yeah.
never gonna be allowed to cross. Not because you can't, but because that wall is there for a good reason, and that wall is there to protect you as a person, not the person you love. And
You sound like
it's
a
always there.
spy. Are you a spy?
No,
Uh,
no, no. So I'm a linguist. I'm a translator. My career is in
I
translation and
figured. Yeah.
such. I wish I was a spy.
That sounds like so much fun to be a spy who pretends to
I
be a
imagine
translator.
that. Imagine that. That would be great.
That's a book waiting to happen. I'm going to need you to make that book too.
No, having these sort of things where you do work that you can't really speak about. There's days where I was at home with my family as well, and I'd have my grandmother ask me, "What are you doing?" And I couldn't explain, so all I could tell her was like, "I'm just doing this job that pays this, and that's it. I can't say anything." But when the family's asking, there's a specific kind of like, "Are you lying? Are you not? Are you what's going on here?" Because you as a person, if you get a contract and that contract tells you you cannot speak of this, you don't know what to do. It draws a despair in you that you're like you don't know what to tell someone, you don't know what to do. And if you love someone, if you have someone like a partner, and I did have partners, there were times that they would ask me, "Where have you been? What are you doing? Where are you? Why aren't you
Can't tell
home
you.
yet?" Or whatever else. It's like, I'm sorry, I can't tell you. I'll
That's
tell
so
you when
hard.
I'm home. Like I'll tell you when I'm home, but there's only a limited thing I can tell you, really. It's I'm doing this thing, and dot 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 dot, minor few details, and that's sort of it.
It's a lot of trust to put in somebody and not being able to find out what they do and where they're at. That's got to be
Yeah,
hard.
yeah, and then there's also my family background and my family last name and more. There's a lot of expectations, there's a lot of hardships, there's a lot of things to deal with, so it's not easy,
Your
and
family
that sort of
background, your
drives up.
family name. I have got to know more about you.
That's things I can't really reveal much, but there's things that there's things that I have to deal with that most people in my age would be like, well, I'm just enjoying my youth. I'm 20s or 30s. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Yeah, okay, that's great for you. I have responsibilities. I have things I need to achieve and things I need to do. And also, I have a mother who has expectations of me, so I have to make sure those expectations are met. I have a partner who has expectations of me. I have to make sure those expectations are met. I have expectations of myself. I need to make sure I meet my own goals and expectations and dreams and values. I have people that trust me and value my input because I help them through hardships in their life. I have a friend who is now a geologist, and I go to him. He's one of my closest friends, James Johnston, and I also go to him a lot for clarification and sharing ideas because we both helped each other emotionally when we were in hardships. And when he was in hardship, I helped him whichever way I could, and financially if I could as well. And it's this kind of it's a closeness where you have with someone, and also the expectations of the people who are close to you, and the responsibilities you have as an adult regarding your job, regarding the people around you, your family. Eventually, when my brother and sister grow up, they will have someone else to rely on, or they will need someone else to rely on in case something goes wrong in the family. If something happens to my mother, and sure, they can be adults and maybe they have to fend for themselves. Of course, they have to fend for themselves. But how are they going to come home if something else happens to my family? I need to step up. I need to do more. So this is why I'm also, doing these podcasts as well. Is as an author, it's important for my name to get out there and for my work to get out there. And when I do publish, it's important for me to step up and say, okay, here's my work. Here's my share of everything. I'm stepping up to do the right thing. I want to make sure everything's covered. I want to make sure my family's taken care of. I want to make sure my partner is loved and cherished and taken care of, and that I can marry her and have a great life with her and everything else. I want to ensure everything is there for everyone. But that sort of it takes a toll on you. It's a hardship, but that's specifically why, so to speak.
You are like the oldest man in the youngest body. You have
People keep telling me that.
you've got you've gone from Rome to Paris to Berlin, Hong Kong. How do you manage to keep your voice when you're writing your poetry not only honest, but maintaining the how do you write displacement in such an honest way but make it still sound poetic, I suppose is the best way to put that.
I don't know. I
Just a
could
gift.
try and explain it as much as I could, but even if I told you in many different languages, even if I explained the basis behind language and linguistics, even in that sense of like the theoretical way of using language and all that. I still don't know. I'm a writer. I'm
It's
a
just a
poet. I've
gift.
always been a poet. Yeah, I've always been a poet. I can't blame it for it. I can't fight it. I'm just there. And as for keeping my voice, I mean, it's always there. I'm never gonna lose that thing. That's always there. Did I struggle with finding my voice at some point? Yeah, there were times where I was really lost. I got into spirals and depression and suicidal maniac ideation and much more. And that's a dangerous ground to tread on. It's a really dangerous ground to tread on, being near death constantly and seeking death in the sense of tomorrow I want to die. I want to find a way to die. And there's that. There's the despair that comes with it. There's the sadness that comes with it. There's the isolation. But that voice is always going to be there. As for being honest, I stopped caring what people think.
I like that.
I know that people are always going to complain about you as a person. Like, for example, I can tell you right now, I'm not likable as a person. There are many things that I will be very stubborn about. I will not agree to many things. So when I have friends, or if I meet someone and their opinion is different, we will talk and we will exchange opinions. But I will stand my ground, come what may, because of my stubbornness and unwillingness to relent and bend to norms or ideas. It's, for example, if someone has a sensitivity now to triggers regarding words, it's, for example, you could say anything regarding, um, well, I don't want to say trigger words in case anyone does get triggered on a spot again, but so it's hard to say that, but like, um, if you say any sensitive word now regarding bodily autonomy, regarding emotions, regarding anything really, people are gonna get easily offended because you said the word in an argument or discussion or whatever else, and they believe they have the right to be offended, right? And to me, my idea is a word is a word. The weight you place on it is your own, and you are granted that right to put whatever weight you have on it. That's your right. However, if a person cannot mention something via word, you have the problem of attacking another person when they are mentioning something when it has nothing to do with you as a person whatsoever. You are simply discussing a topic without care and without, boundaries. But sure, you might say, well, you need to have boundaries in the social setting and all that. But no, I will stand my ground on these type of like ideation or like boundaries in topics. No, ideations in getting offended by words. No, and there's that you're gonna have that major dislike toward that person, but they're standing their ground on that and they're saying no. My answer is no. Enough. That's it, done. But like
I
knowing
don't think
that and
there's
knowing how
anything wrong with that. I think that the key in that situation for me is I know that you and I may not agree on certain things, but are we being respectful to each other?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
there's
essentially it's
plenty of
that.
things that I will stand firm on. And if you try to
Yeah,
move it,
essentially.
I'm a mountain. But I'm not going to be a
Yeah.
jerk about it. So you don't seem like you're the kind of guy who would be a jerk about it.
No, I mean I will tell them if you complain about it, it's like, well, I get it. I get where you're coming from and I get you're offended and all that. It's not my responsibility. But I get it, and I'm sorry if you feel that way because you do have the right to feel that way, and I'm sorry you feel that way. However, you need to distance the responsibility. What I said, I said. That does not make me responsible for your emotions, however. You're still an adult, you're still a person. You can't blame someone for your own emotions. That's where the boundary between discussion and attacking a person comes in the line. Is like respectfully you can talk with people and discuss things, but there needs to be a line where you don't attack each other for it.
That's where I think we get lost is I don't care what anybody thinks about a lot of things, but don't attack me for what I think. And actually, most times I don't feel attacked. I'm just like, okay,
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah, yeah, essentially same. But people get offended by that easily. It's like if you say whatever, it's like,
Oh, they do. Oh, no, that's true. I mean, there are a
yeah,
lot of things that I've said, I've heard someone say, and I feel like they're trying to get a rise out of me. And I just, okay.
yep, pretty much the same. But no, I mean, it comes from that, and it's the whole sort of I stopped caring what anyone thinks. I People might not like it, people might like it, people might like my work, might not like my work, people might get angry over it, or I don't know, they might say, well, I live in this country and it's not like this because I experienced my country in XYZ way. I'm like, great for you, but I'm just talking about my experiences. If you don't like it, by all means, it's okay. You don't always have to like things. We have preferences for a reason. And that's a very normal human thing to have. It's if you like Hemingway and another guy likes Hamlet, entirely two different zones, and that's completely okay.
It's sad
So
that we kind of
I,
live in a world where we all just can't accept. Like, why does there have to be so much hate? Why can't we just accept what it is and just let everybody
yeah,
mind their business?
yeah, pretty much, yeah. And it sort of came from that. It's like I don't care. Let me write what I feel. If someone doesn't like it or they feel hurt by it or whatever, in the end, this is writing. I'm not writing to attack a person. I'm not writing to attack myself. I'm not writing to please anyone. I'm writing from desperation. I'm writing to not kill myself because I know if I don't write tomorrow, I will legitimately want to end my life. I am a person who, without doing what I need to do artistically, will get into an extremely horrible cycle. I have to write. It is my only way of surviving. It is my only way of saying. I even have notebooks where will I would jot down a lot of things out of pure desperation, not even out of a want to write. It is
You have
in me.
to.
There's a yeah, I have to. I know that if I don't, by the next day, I will feel as useless as possible and at the same time punish myself for it and also, in a sense, say, I didn't write today. I don't deserve to live. I didn't do my duty. So it stems from that. Is it a great thing? No, no, it's not. It's really not. But it is what it is. You come to accept it.
You also use borders a lot. I noticed when I was reading through,
Yeah.
you kind of like the physical, emotional, the linguistic borders. Um, what drew you to using the borders theme? And I guess I can probably guess what you're going to answer as
Yeah,
really a
yes.
central image. I didn't know that until I started talking to you, so now I kind of get it. But for those who don't know, why did we choose borders as the central image for exploring the identity, the belonging?
Well, if you go through any passport control, there's always going to be already that realistic sense of border, that there's already that, that very foundational border. I think most people who have there's a lot of people who don't have a passport. So I think
That's true.
the people who don't might not understand this. And I hope that eventually they get to, because it's important. But the people who do have passports and travel the world, there's always going to be that check of you welcome into the country. Are you staying long? Are you not? And
What's your
then
purpose
there's
of
this
being in the country?
yeah, yeah, essentially, and there's a passport check, and there's a border of a country, and then that country, the moment you're past the border, now you're under the jurisdiction and law of this country and these people and their norms and their cultures and their way of speaking and everything else. So it stems from that as well because I've traveled too much. So I've felt that personally when I go through border patrol and checks in any other countries. I hold a Lithuanian passport. So if I go to really any country, they're gonna always look at me for a long while they're checking the passport. For example, my partner in Hong Kong, 1, 2, yeah, it's fine because she has a residency card or something. But for me as a foreigner, and I look at the other foreigners in the line, it's like the other foreigners are like, 1, 2, done, you can go. And then there's me. They look at the passport, look at the passport, look at the passport, look at the passport. I'm like, what's wrong? There's nothing in the passport. What's wrong? And you just keep waiting and waiting and waiting, and there's that sort of this distasteful look in their eyes, or they're looking at you kind of like, you filthy outsider, what are you doing here? Where are you going? Because you can see it in their eyes. There's that little bit of a hatred for these outsider people, and yeah, it stems from that, the experience of being the outsider, being a foreigner in many countries where they don't like foreigners in many sense that are either Slavic or Central European or something else. There's the borders of emotions. There's the borders of a distant person. Being a distant person, I am a distant person. I don't like getting close to people. I have a genuine dislike for people, not because I don't like people. I like to observe humanity and I find it beautiful. I do find people beautiful. I like the interactions they do. I like the soft spoken moments. I like the gentleness of seeing a parent hold their hand with their child and just seeing the child smile and jump up and be joyful. The couple in the corner who's being all lovey-dovey, the solitary person just having their coffee in a coffee shop and doing whatever they're doing. I like that. But do I like being near people? No, it's extremely uncomfortable. It's something that terrifies me because I can't relate to people. I'm not able to. I am too distant as a person to relate to people. So when you come and tell me something, I'll agree with a lot of things and sort of be understanding, like, oh, I understand what you're going through. And most of the time, I do understand what someone's going through, but there's going to be that sense of, you tell me you have friendships and you have communities and you have a family that loves you and all of this, and I'll be like, I'm sorry, I don't understand. I will be honest with you, I'm sorry, I really don't understand. I understand that you are loved and that you're cherished by people, and there's a lot of people who love you and care for you, but I cannot relate to that. I'm an outsider. I've always been an outsider.
Which kind of brings me to the Wanderer's finality, I think, is where it said, "No place has loved me enough to keep me."
Yeah,
That seems like that's probably what you're talking about.
yeah, essentially.
That's
And I
kind of
think
that's kind of sad. That's devastating, really.
you get used to it in some aspect. I mean, Kafka got used to it. Albert Einstein got used to it. Many people of all sort of achievements and accomplishments got used to that. They did their work, they did their duty, and even if people didn't like them, they still lived on and did what they did, deemed right.
So
And
then,
even
so
if
then, what does home look like to you? Especially when that I think I read between embassies and departure of flights. What does home look like to you?
it doesn't, there is no home for me. I can
Okay.
say there is a home for me, but there is no home for me. I don't have a home country, so there's no home there. I don't have a hometown. Barely remember the hometown that I grew up in. There's, well, not even grew up in that was in for like 2 or 3 years, really. So I don't even remember that. I don't remember home as home because we moved to other countries, and then eventually I was left in another country again. The whole idea of a physical home for me doesn't really exist. People have a home, and most people, the safe space you have is home. That's home for them. But for me, home is not a concept. Home is a person. The only way I can have home is by the person who knows me the most, who, above all else, come what may, is able to take me in, knowing what they know, which no one else is allowed to know. And my partner is the only one in the world who probably knows more about me than anyone else on this planet, really. There's no one else on this planet who knows more about me than her in every concept of actually knowing the things I do, knowing what I work with, knowing who I am, my background, and many more things. She's the only one who really accepted me, even despite my rougher edges, even despite my stubbornness, even despite everything. And that to me is more home than any other place will ever be. I will never be able to be home in any place. You can put me in a community and I might help out in the community and befriend everyone in the community. But even then, you will probably see I will not go out of my way to interact. I will stay to my own, and that will be it. If you come to me and you tell me, "Hey, how are you?" I will appreciate that because I see that you're trying to reach out, and I will give you a hand over my little, my big wall. But it has to be from an effort of someone coming to me directly to want to know. Whereas I personally will not reach out. I'm not a type. I will not reach out.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to reach out because I need to know more about you. And I know you're not gonna tell me, but I feel like you're a spy. Uh,
I am not. No, no, I am not. I am
so,
very far from a spy.
so you have one called Ships and Tickets.
Ships and yes, yes, I can see it here as well.
You
Yes,
write about Hong Kong specifically in that one. Um,
yes.
can you now speak Cantonese? Is one of the, I don't think it's the same poem.
No, I can't speak Cantonese. I've been trying to learn it. I've been trying for like couple ever since I went to Hong Kong for the first time. I've been trying to learn Cantonese. I've been asking her to teach me and looking online and using online courses and YouTube and all these things to also learn Cantonese little by little. But I can't speak Cantonese yet. No, it
It's on your
will
list.
maybe take a year. Yeah, it's on my list. It will take a year or two or three until I manage to learn this thing.
You say that you were always the mistake, never the citizen, never the one who remains. When you go and hopefully end up living there with your partner and get married, do you think that you'll feel settled or will you want to keep moving?
I She already knows I will want to keep moving. She also wants to travel and she loves to travel too, but she's more of a person who needs a home and a stable life. I am more of the person who I will take a job that leads me out and then lets me come back and tell you a story about where I've been and bring back some things. I'm more of that person. I will not be able to stay home, and she understands this. She knows I am very much
A
a
nomad?
person who, well, not even a nomad. Nomads stay for a long while in places before they
That's true.
leave. I'm a person who is too restless. It's why I've owned birds in my life. For example, now we own a small bird, and before that we owned two other birds who died sadly. But they were lovely little boys. And it's the reason why I own birds. Birds are free. They can fly anywhere they like, even if you own one. And maybe, yeah, maybe you can call it like, oh, you're caging a bird, and that's horrible because you're keeping a bird away from flying in nature. But if the bird is raised lovingly and they can still fly anywhere in the house they want to, explore at will, and they still come back to their cage willingly because they see this as their little home, you know, great, because they understand there's freedom and
Right.
there's a little home. At the same time, they have both. And this is why I own birds. It's why I like the sea. I remember when I was young, I grew up by the sea a lot, and I mean quite a lot. We went on a ship a while back when I was very young. We traveled a lot throughout little islands all across. There were times where we stayed on a ship for like a week to 2 weeks near a place in Italy somewhere on another island entirely. And just altogether, I've been always at a point of I need to be free. I can't stay somewhere. It suffocates me. I even noticed this in Hong Kong when um we were there for a while, couple of months. The longer I was there, the more and more negative I was growing and having more and more negative opinions, which isn't great as a person to have. But I noticed that the more I stay somewhere, the more I notice all the horrible parts of a country and a culture. And I want to change it, but I can't change it, and no one's gonna be willing to change it. So there's that sentimental value in you that grows more and more angry and more ferocious of I don't like this, but I can't change it. and you grow more and more negative. So me staying somewhere long, no, I can't. I will probably travel. Even then, I'll pick any job that lets me travel. Even now, I'm working toward becoming a diplomat in the sense of I want to work with embassies. So this is why I'm getting a humanities degree on top of that. It's like if I want to work with embassies, I need a humanities degree. And even then, I'm still looking for a job that will let me travel and work elsewhere constantly.
That's got to be hard on her, but at least she accepts it.
Yeah, yeah, we've found a balance in that sense. Yeah,
I can't imagine, you said earlier that home to you is a person, and that's 1,000% how it doesn't matter where I'm at. As long as I'm with that person, it feels more like home. Although there's nothing better than coming home to your own bed. We travel quite a bit, and there's just, we're those people, I think because we're just getting old, who like to go and see things and go and do things. But then, like, at some point, we're like, okay, I just want to go home to my bed.
yeah, we're the same. We're really the same. It's like at some point when it's evening 9, 10 o'clock, it's like, it's time to go back
I mean, even if
because
when we
we
went
get
to
tired.
Italy, I was like, okay, this has been great. Had a great time. I'm ready to go home because I feel safe in my space. I don't do well with
Yeah,
people. I don't people so great. They
same.
they wouldn't realize. People think I'm like great and I'm very extroverted, but I'm not. I am the best introvert, extroverted introvert that you'll ever meet because I fake it. It's all faked. I do
Yeah,
better
it's
one on one
pretending.
with you than I would in a
Yeah,
group.
it's all pretending. I do the same. If I'm with people, I'm always pretending. I have to pretend because I know that for a fact if I tell them that the real truth of how I feel, no one's gonna be happy. There's no one who's gonna be happy. Really, no one's gonna be happy because you have that person who's like, I don't want to be here. Don't like any of you. Don't like you, and this. Don't like this. Bye. Everyone's gonna be unhappy at that point. They're like, what the hell was that?
Yes. My husband always says I don't have a filter. And I'm like, oh no, I do. Because if you knew the things that were going on up here, it would
Yeah,
be bad. I like one
it'd
on
be
one
really
people,
bad.
though. I can talk to somebody one on one for hours, but you put me in a group, I clam up and I start putting on the fakeness.
Yep, pretty much the same.
I hate that about myself. I wish I could work a room, but I don't, and like people who know me think I'm great at it. And I'm like, that's because I'm faking it. On the inside, I'm screaming,
Well, I mean,
screaming.
for me, with people, it's always been the fact of I learned early on you need to take a stand for what you really believe in and your principles. Come what may. Doesn't matter what it is. Even if you are forced to compromise on your principles, you still need to stand firm on it. And I learned that very early on because of my mentor who taught me this is like if you have something you really believe in, doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter who may or may not agree with you in this, fight for it and uphold the values and principles you have. And to me is I don't like people because I see how they behave. They lie to each other. They pretend to each other. They are hostile to each other. They constantly attack each other. They're always in some manner of way trying to find some way to have the upper hand to hurt someone emotionally or intellectually or in some other manner. There's always that hostility in a person. So for me, I'm just never gonna be able to uphold that fakeness with people. I will not play around with masks. If you as a person want to show me you are a human being, take away your mask. Show me who you are. I uphold my principles. Now you do the same.
Do you think that maybe, and this is really off topic from your poetry, but do you think that maybe the reason why that hostility, I mean, like, I totally get it. I think you're 100% right. There's always somebody looking at an angle. Like, someone can take a mistake that someone made and then use that to destroy a life. Like, we're all
Yeah.
perfect. Like, no one's allowed to make a mistake. So, one mistake can then lead to a witch hunt, essentially. But do you think that's because of our social media, the instant connection that we have with each
It's it's
other.
been it's been like this ever since modern times, really. The moment anyone got power in the modern area of it's for example, I can show you the example of children now, and I've noticed this with even university students here is they're 18, 17, 19. Now they have this idea that if you are against anything DEI, not because you're naturally against DEI, which like yeah, I'm for inclusion and it's good to include everyone. Of course you should. If you have disabilities, people should be given chances. If you are of any race, skin color, or otherwise, of course you should be given a chance. It's only fair. But now they think that like if you're against specific enforcements of this versus naturally allowing I don't know, DEI or transsexuals or gays or straight people, whichever really like idea you have, you can be straight and not allow a straight person. You can be gay and not allow a gay person, whichever idea it is. And you say, well, we're going to force this ideology into our business and then into our institutions and then everything else. And then you're against forcing it because I prefer it to be natural. If you're going to accept someone, let it be natural. If you're going to say, we like transsexual people. Don't tell me that's institutional. Tell me you have talked to these transsexual people, seen how they live and how they think, and accepted them naturally. Then tell me I want transsexual people, or I want disability people, or I want foreigners, I want Afro Americans, I want this and that. It's like don't institutionalize it. Talk to them. They're human beings. They're normal people. They're normal everyday people going through the exact same thing you are, doing the exact same things you are. People with disabilities are fighting constantly day in life to survive. Black people in America, for example, they're really fighting tooth and nail for just general opportunities even. Transsexual people are fighting for rights, and of course, there's the enforcement of transsexual ideology and all that, which is okay, fine, you can have that, but the people who are actually fighting for rights without enforcing it, I like them. I like the people who are showing, hey, I'm not going to enforce my ideology or anything on you. This is
Get
who
to
I
know
am.
me first.
Yeah, get to know me first. This is who I am. I'm fighting for these rights, but I'm not going to force it on you. Like, okay, great. I'm part of a publishing group, Curious Corvid Publishing, and we have people of all sorts there. We have people with disabilities. We have people who are marginal. We have people with that cultures you might not even know. You have people who are on disabilities. We have people who are either a transsexual now or changing into transsexual via cosmetic surgery or otherwise, and all the emotional things. Like we're accepting everyone, and we're being really accepting. It's that's the point I like. Is like you're being accepting because you naturally understand the struggle of being a human. That for me is amazing. It's really amazing. It's when you are enforced on ideology in a militaristic way that I really, really can't stand it. And that is where it's a dangerous ground to tread on. It's like, well, if you say you're against this and that, that means you are
Transphobic.
sexist, transphobic, or sexist, or this and that. It's like, no, I agree with trans people. I agree with women. I agree with men. I agree with, hell, I agree with everyone. For Christ's sake, I'm an outsider. I'm a foreigner. Even I don't have rights. I agree with everyone, really. I just don't agree with you forcing it on people. That's it. Just that. But
I
I've
just wonder,
noticed,
and I hear you 1,000%. I do. I just wonder, and this is now we're going to get into a debate, apparently not a debate, but a conversation.
no, no, it's, yeah, yeah, it's okay.
I'm just more curious that if maybe that people are struggling, that they're marginalized, that they're having to fight these fights, that because there's a lot of people who, even though you and I are completely accept, we don't care. Do you accept you? I accept
Yeah,
you for
yeah,
who
exactly.
you are. I want to get to know you. There's still a lot of people who would never do that. Then how are they given the opportunity if the majority of people who are in power don't accept it?
That's where I struggle as well as a foreigner and outsider too, is I
Yeah, I imagine.
see, there's a lot of hostility in general in the public. There's a lot of hostility in the politics side as well, because if you can say no to a specific law and you can make money off of it, of course you're going to do it. Because in politics, there's only really two ways to make money. It's either A, you get donations and illegal donations, which you're never going to mention, which is a very big part of politics. We all know this. We have a history in publicly admitting this everywhere in the world, really. Or B, you are saying no to legislation and law in a country, and someone lobbying what your decision is donating to your party, which is means you have more money to use on your life, and you make more money doing that way. So of course politicians are going to do this. I don't blame them. They want money to survive and also have a good life too. And you study a long time to become a politician of any kind, really. It's the same as medicine. Medicine is 6 years. Politics is bachelor's for politics of any kind, humanities bachelor's of any kind. Then you have the training. Then there's the trainee period, which is like 1 or 2 years you're put somewhere else. And then after that period, you have to then start getting into legislation and law. Then after that, you have to get into the UN, or if you're not in the UN, the American government or the Asian governments. There's a long time before you become a politician, and it's understandable why they would get corrupt and want money. They fought for it. They really did fight for it. And that's really understandable, which is one key point many people miss in politics is, well, politicians are corrupt and this and that. Yes, but did you consider how much time they fought to get the job they actually have now? It's really a long, long process. They deserve what they're getting. And maybe you don't agree with it, and I don't agree with it, and everyone else doesn't agree with it. But the fact that they are doing this to get money is kind of a really natural way. Everyone in a business would do this. Anyone really would do this. But is it the right thing to do? No. It's a horrific thing to do. It's a morally breaking code of morality way of doing it. You are hurting a lot of people doing so, and that causes a lot of anger, and that anger then becomes public because there's a lot of anger to when you say no to, for example, let's say you're putting a bill forward to say no to foreigners or no to foreign aid or no to immigrants. And then people are going to be like, well, okay, we understand it, we're going to agree with it. And then that anger is going to rise up of like, okay, well, our politicians don't like them, so we shouldn't like them because our politicians are our um, guiding lights. And I say this with quotation marks, guiding lights. We should follow our guiding light. And then you follow the same ideology. They don't like foreigners, so we shouldn't like foreigners. They don't like people who are transsexual and changing into transsexual. We shouldn't like this. It's like, yeah, you you can be angry all you want and follow this ideology. Doesn't mean it's right. Really doesn't mean it's right. People are fighting for trans rights because they need rights. How are they going to get surgeries then? If they don't have rights, they can't get surgeries. Black people are trying to get out of the idea of they're always portrayed as poor people because we always portray them as poor people. But they're not. They're people who have achieved great things. There's people in sports who did the same. There's people in physics. There's so many great people of color I met that have the most outstanding minds. I met a professor in physics. He has 50 to 58 published works, I think, as a professor, two of which are highly regarded, taught to this day. He is nearing retirement age at 56 or 58 now in his country. We're still teaching his works across many universities on the planet. There's like so many people who have done so many great things of all sorts, people with disabilities. I can even show you. I recently met a professor of literature and creative writing, um, Dr. Kane Holborn, and I have his book here. He is in a wheel. No, he's not. He's in one of those robotic chairs which you use to move.
Yeah.
So he can't move his body a lot, and he has speech impediments, so he can't also speak well. But he wrote poetry. He's got awards. He's got tons of things. And I bought this book All the other students, they just left. It's like, you're not even gonna try to buy the book at all? Everyone just left. And to me, I went, it's £10. I don't mind. It's just money. This man has worked all his life, can't move well, can't speak well, but still great achievements. Became a professor, got a doctorate, masters, bachelors, published poetry, got awards, got everything. I'm I'm buying this. I'm supporting this now. I don't care what anyone thinks. I'm supporting this. I like it. And to me, it's like that anger needs to die, but it's there. It's a social aspect. It's a political aspect. People have social media now, which is even easier to enforce ideologies when you're already young. So if you're already 14, 15, there's already the whole trend of you go to TikTok, you go to YouTube, you go to Instagram, Facebook, whichever media you really use. You go to any media, even Discord, for example, you're still gonna have all these people with ideologies and political views and political beliefs and more, and they're essentially feeding it to a child who doesn't have the moral foundations set out for them yet. They don't understand what moral foundations in politics as well is, because that's a very different world. It's a very big, grasping world to really understand. Um, how do you understand the left? How do you understand the right? How do you understand Marxism, communism, capitalism, socialism? That takes many years to study, many, many years of studying and understanding and being taught. At a young age, you're already being fed all sorts of strange, dark ideas, very dark ideas. And then by the time they're 20, 25, 26, 27, 30, even by the time they're probably 35, now they have all these ideas that are angry and they teach about it. They preach it outward. And of course you have the liberty of speech across all the planet. It's a well-deserved right. We all should have this right. But there's a danger that comes with it. You have the duty of carrying forward humanity by what you say, what you do, and how you act. That's an extremely part of a virtue we've lost now, and people who are being preached to at a young age will then drive whatever they've been preached to further and forward into their life, because now that's their foundation in life is, I believe in this because I saw X amount of people and X amount of things teach me this. So that's why I believe in it. But then that ideology is angry. It's hostile. It's attacking other people. And then it gets up to Congress, or it gets up to the UN, or it gets into the EU, whichever really. And then, you get what you have now is this strange, dark, twisted planet we have where people are constantly attacking each other and are constantly hostile and have the idea that if they can have a one-up manner of holding something above you or being mightier than you and saying something against you, that they are the mightier person and they have the higher ground and they can speak out more and they are the moral priest of something. And it's a dangerous world to live in. It's a very, very dangerous world to live in. It's not okay.
Wouldn't it just be great if everybody just accepted everybody else and there was like, we just didn't
I
care?
wish.
We
I
just,
wish. I
I don't
wouldn't.
care what
I
your
wouldn't
religion
write about
is.
this.
Do whatever you want to do. Just be happy. Be a good person. Don't hurt anybody. Just
Yeah,
be a good person.
yeah. I wish. I mean, I wouldn't write about the things I write about now if I didn't. But people are the way they are. We don't have the same planet we used to.
Sure. You did. There was something that you said that actually I think was one of the things that she stuck with me the most, and it was that you could there you had 12 languages that you cannot fully weep in. And that, I mean, having been around the world and traveling as much as you have and seeing the dark sides of what's happening around the world, I imagine that sticks with you everywhere you go, that there's just
It
not,
it does. It
Yeah.
really, really does. I mean, in a couple years ago, I can look up the date here real quickly. A couple years ago, in 2016, this was, my sister and my mother, and I think my brother probably as well, were in Monaco at the time. And in 2016, there was a terror attack in Nice. It's a place right outside of Monaco. Monaco is a country, it's a very tiny country. Right outside of Monaco, there's this little place called Nice, which is a strip that goes into Monaco as well. And it goes into Sanremo, I think, as well. And there was a terror attack of a bus driver who was driving everyone over in Monaco at a festival on the strip regatta and that is from Nice to Monaco. And I remember I was scared, lifeless. I was powerless. I was in another country at the time. I was in Norway. I must have been 17 at the time. I called my mom. I texted her in frantic panic. I kept checking hour after hour because she didn't respond at first. It was midnight or something, or very late at night, and she didn't respond. And I kept texting. I kept calling. It's like, "Are you okay? Are you alive? Is everything okay? What's going on?" I was terrified, genuinely terrified. I thought they died in that terror attack, but no. I mean, thankfully, they managed to not be like exactly there during exactly that moment. But you see these horrible things happen. Even the bombing in Oslo that happened a good couple years ago, and the killing of several children, and you see all these other horrible things that have happened in Europe. Terrorist attacks in France. We had terrorist attacks all over. In Switzerland, there's been a terrorist attack. In France, there's been terrorist attacks. In Italy, there's been terrorist attacks. We've had horrific things happen before. I've seen people kill themselves in a way that I never wanted to. I've seen people decide to go to war. I've seen people decide to come back with no limbs. I've had friends who they were happy at first, the most jolly, wonderful people. 1 year later, they come back from deployment and there's nothing left of them. There's this husk of a person who you might have remembered, but now there's no life. There's no life. There's nothing at all. And you look at them the moment they come off the escalator at the airport, and they're just standing there begging you for forgiveness in a way with their eyes and sort of just looking at you in a shame where you can feel they've done something they will never be able to live down. Never, ever will they be able to live it down. And they look at you with those eyes, and all you can feel is just pure agony. Not agony in yourself, but agony for them. The pain they're going through, the suffering they're going through. The way I've seen famine come into countries. I've seen people be homeless in different levels. Here in England, I see homeless people, and it's like a couple, like five, six homeless people maybe on the street, and they're drinking alcohol and begging for like a couple pounds to buy some more alcohol or buy some more food. And it's okay. It's like a minor, it's a minor amount of homelessness that shows that the government is trying in some aspect. But I've seen in other countries where I go and people are without homes, water, food, shelter. I've seen people in countries that have no economies fight for scraps. I've seen people raise up arms and harm each other for nothing. I mean, genuinely nothing. If you had a bottle of water, they would try to kill you for it. The sheer disaster in some countries where they're not portraying to the world what's actually going on. In Europe, we have this idea of let's portray Europe as this great, wonderful place where you can go and be a tourist. And most people will go and be a tourist, and maybe they'll live in a country in Europe and they'll have a good life. But they don't portray the bad things that are happening in all these countries. The way we have homelessness, the way governments are so corrupt in Slovakia and more, where people have to pay tax on tax on tax to the point that they can't even live. Beyond even just a measure of living is you can't even get an apartment. The fact that you can't get an apartment in America, at least there's the fact of you can get a loan even if you have debt later on. And of course you shouldn't have debt, and it's a horrible thing to have, but you can get a loan to at least live. In some countries,
That is not
you
always
can't even.
true.
Well, yeah, but like you have at least the possibility to try to apply for one.
Yeah,
In
but
some countries,
if you don't have any credit, you're never going to get one. So if you're
yeah, yeah,
27 and you've never bought anything in your life, it's almost
yeah,
set up to fail you. It's like you have to go into debt to show that you're good with money in order to get a
yes.
loan to get in more debt.
Whereas in some countries in Europe, you can't even apply. Period. You will not be allowed to apply no matter what. If you don't have specific credentials, it's not even about the credit, not even about like the score of your banking, nothing. If you don't have the basic foundation of did you go to high school or could you afford high school, and you say no,
You're
that's
out.
it. Yeah, that's it. You're out. You're never getting a loan. You're never getting a pop, and you're never getting your life fixed. Nothing. There's some people who go to the army in many countries in Europe purely and only because it's the only way to sustain their families. It's literally the only way. You can't otherwise sustain their families. And it's not every country in Europe. Italy is a bad place as well. It's a romantic place, and if you go there, of course, it's a romantic. You been there, I been there, everyone's been there probably. But if you go there and you live there, you can see that people are paid under wage. Most people are. The entire government is controlled by what we call the Gamorra, the mafia, more or less. It's still controlled by that. It's not really controlled by a government. Like there's a lot of bad downsides that are never portrayed to people. But it's this showcase of we live in a world where you're not allowed to live. You are constantly berated in negative ways, told you're not allowed to live in a way that you want to, and then not given the opportunity to do so either. And then we have the result of what we have now, so to speak, with this kind of, way of living and way of being, more or less.
So now talking to you, your poems make a lot more sense. Um, and I can see I can actually like, sort of feel you more in them because it's a lot. When you publish this and you have other people who are going to read it, what do you want them to take away from it? Like it's a heavy. So I was thinking about like what was that uh love to I don't want to pull it up. Love to is a border when it forgets your face. Is that right? Somewhere towards the end of the book or of the collection, I think it was love to is a border when it forgets your face. And it's because that made me kind of just stop and go, oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's so when if that's the last one that we read and we close your collection, what are you hoping that someone will take away from it?
I don't know. It's a hard question to answer. Like you can tell me at any real question here, but I don't know. I recently been doing these interviews because I've talked to people who wanted to know more about me because like if you go to my Instagram profile, of course you don't know much about me. You probably see travel pictures and like two or three things I've gotten published recently. But there's not like a lot of information about me as a person. So I'm trying to give them the reach of here's me being sincere. Here's me being vulnerable. Take it as you will. This is my vulnerability. This is my sincerity to you.
I
But
think
as
it's
for what,
honest. I think it's a very
yeah,
honest, and it's a thing that a lot of, if people read that and they can relate to it, I think maybe it will make them not feel as alone in their own head.
and what I is there something I want them to take away from it? Maybe that outsiders don't have to be alone. Outsiders don't have to live forever as alone. I have friendships. I've one specific, very specific friendship with someone. Her name is Iselin. Um, she's been a really, really amazing person I met and friend and so much more in my life recently. And she is, in some aspect, why I write this and some other poems as well. Um, we've had struggles as close friends and, as more than just close friends, someone who understands each other in a very deep way. And she's probably one of my very few close friends. And there's been struggles to understand me because I put up a wall. There's been struggles where we fought day and night sometimes because I don't let her in and don't let her feel, let me in, let me know what you're going through, let me know why you're hurting and all these things. And in some aspect, this is why I'm writing this, is to let people who know they are an outsider in the most genuine sense and do not want to let anyone in, understand that it's okay to be vulnerable, okay to be sincere, okay to be honest, but above all else, you're not alone. You're okay. Things will be okay. Outsiders are going to exist. We are outsiders for a reason, and we have a duty. And that duty as the outsider is to let them see the world in the way it really is, to be journalists, to be authors, to be poets, to be reporters, to be warfront reporters, to be anyone who is a genuine outsider and has chosen a life and duty or has born into a life and duty of being an outsider, to show the world its own face, its own humanity, and its own capacity of being human in the both negative and positive aspect in the most sincere, human, vulnerable, and honest way possible.
I think you did that with this. It made me reflect a lot. I think it's going to make a lot of people reflect a lot. I consider myself an outsider in a lot of ways, from appearance to beliefs to, um, I mean, I've got children who are disabled. It's it's a constant battle, with somebody. I feel like I'm always having to fight somebody, and it's exhausting. And sometimes I forget that other people are going through that battle as well. So when I read it, it was like, okay, I don't feel like I'm the only one doing it. So I took that away from it. It kind of gave me that
Mm.
moment to say, okay, it's okay that I feel this way because other people are too.
Yeah, and I hope eventually someone, I mean, the title of this entire thing will be changed because it's gonna take a year to develop like many works in this. But,
Yeah.
when I do get a publisher for it, and I hope I do get a publisher for it because I don't want to be self-publishing. I found that exhausting already. The whole independent publishing zone for me is not a thing. I'm a more of a traditional person. I can't do it. So once I
It's a
do
lot of
get a
work.
publisher for this, yeah, it's not just that. It doesn't reward you enough. It really doesn't reward you enough for the amount of work you're doing. You're doing an entire publishing team's work for just one thing only. That doesn't feel rewarding for me at all to do that anymore. So I'm gonna get this publisher to traditional publisher at some point if I can get an agent eventually, and then I do sincerely hope someone out there, whoever this goes out to. You can be, I don't know, you can be a child in Africa picking up this book. You can be a child in America picking up this book. You can be middle-aged adult picking this book in whichever place of this earth. Whoever does pick this up, when it does get eventually published one day, I just hope they find one more day to live and that it gives them at least some will to live on just one more day.
And
Just one more day is enough.
in such a dark world, in such a dark times that we're currently living in, where everybody feels so isolated, people don't talk to each other anymore. It's all hidden behind screens. I think that's an important message to send through poetry, and I think people can relate to whether they like it or not. It's relatable, and you wrote it in a very relatable way. And I wasn't kidding. I sat back and said, "Okay, that was a lot," but I don't feel like I'm the only one, because there are days that are so hard that I feel like nobody has any idea what it's like to go through what I go through, which I know sounds insane. I mean, you would think I was the first person who ever lost a child, and I'm not. But in those moments, you feel like it. Like there's nobody else. And then when I read it, I really did such different scenarios. So I was like, okay, it really could be anything. The feeling is the same. The situations are different, but the feeling that we feel inside is the same. So I think you're going to achieve
Yeah,
that.
I hope so. Eventually, one day, I hope so.
Yeah, you will. And then I'll have to start stalking you to find out who you really are and which agency you
Uh,
work for.
I am not a spy, madam. To this day, I will still tell you I'm not a spy.
Yeah, we'll find out what. Yeah, I know you're a spy. It's okay.
I'm back for number 2 podcast on Amara Wynn, series episode number 2. We found out who he is.
He was a spy. I guess I should probably wait until like you're out of that before I blow your cover.
I'm not a spy. To this day
You
forward,
know
I'm
who
gonna
would say
say,
that? You
I'm
know who
not.
would say that? A spy. A spy would say that.
Ma'am, I'm a linguist. I do languages. I don't do spy work.
Said every spy ever.
But what spy is 27 doing a degree in writing and being a poet? Very few.
We don't know. They all have a
Very few.
cover. I've
Ah,
seen movies and I've read books. They all have a cover.
I'm not a spy. I wish I was, but I'm not.
Oh, Ectorius Angel. Ectorius Angel is a spy.
I mean, it would be a great salary.
That's
I would
true.
appreciate that salary.
You'd be doing a lot better. You wouldn't. And if you were a spy, if you just came out as a spy, just don't say for who, then your book would get published so fast.
Yeah. Sadly, I'm not. I don't get paid enough. I don't get paid enough to be doing that type of stuff now.
Oh, well, I'm gonna hold out hope. I'm gonna have the
One day.
mystery solved one day. You were great to talk to. You really, this is probably the longest interview I've done, but I was very, like, I was intrigued through the entire thing. You're very well spoken. You gave me a lot to think about. For a minute there, I thought we were going to start going into a weird territory of you don't like a lot of things that is going to get you canceled.
Oh,
But
no, no, no.
I do like
This
the
is fine.
fact that you are accepting of everybody, and just to be in a world where we could just be happy together and not care would be so nice.
Yeah, it would be, but the world is the way it is. God, if people would just be less angry. Really,
I know.
my biggest gripe with the planet is why are you so angry?
Why are you so mad, bro?
Yeah, why are you so angry? Why can't you just sit down here, you and I, grab a beer, whichever drink you like. You want tea? Here's some tea. I have some tea. Let's just talk.
Ah, that would be so nice. Of course, that would entail us actually getting together as people and talking, and we
Yeah,
don't do that.
yeah, we don't. We really, really don't. It's hard.
No,
Getting to know people is hard.
it is.
Being
That's why I don't
socially
like
people is hard.
people.
Yeah, more or less the same.
And
I
I
mean,
don't, it's a lot of work to get into knowing to somebody, like spending time with them, getting to know them to find out that you don't like them.
my partner has the difficulties of I am such an antisocial person. that every time we meet someone, they're always left with a sort of impression of, ooh, don't like that person. I'm like, but then she understands, like, I'm not a people person. Never gonna happen. Just not gonna happen. Period. I'll try. I will try my best, but not a people person.
Well, you
Not
do
a
me a
bit.
favor and you make sure that tomorrow when you wake up that you write something
I am trying to. I'm
ev-
trying to every single day.
every day. You get up and you write
Every
something.
single day. I'm trying to if as much as I can. It's harder and harder every day, but I am. I am.
Do I need to
It's
start
just not.
sending you reminders to say,
No, no,
let's write something every single day? I'll send you a prompt
no,
every day.
no. It's just it's hard because some days you wake up and it's like you're tired, you're exhausted already, you have a long day ahead of you. There's things to do. You come back home. By the time you come back home, it's already late, and by the time it's already late, you still need to shower. You still need to do everything else. By the time you're done with probably everything, it's like you're exhausted. That's it. You have nothing left in you. And then by the next day, you repeat this day until like you have maybe like 1 day free or 2 days free, whichever work you do. And by those days free, you're just like, I don't feel like doing anything at all anymore. I don't even want to get up. It's just nothing. There's
Yeah.
nothing in me that even wants to do anything. All I want to do is just be there and be non-existent. Don't bother me. Don't talk to me. Don't come knocking on my door. Don't bring me a message. Don't even remotely contact me. I am non-existent. The
And
only
that's the
person
best time to
in
write, my
here,
friend.
I know, but it's hard. It's
Every
not easy.
day. Every day.
I'm trying. Every day I am trying.
Every day. I swear I'll start sending you messages.
I swear that will never be happening.
All
I will
right.
find leeways.
Fine.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, don't be surprised when you wake up tomorrow and there's a message that says, are you going to write today? Show me proof.
No, I'm trying. I haven't written much recently, which bothers me a lot. Really, really horribly bothers me a lot. I haven't written anything in the past 3, 4 weeks, possibly, because I've been occupied with a lot of other stuff, and God, it fucking drives me insane. Really
If you
horribly
have
drives me
time to
insane.
text, you have time to write something down. Doesn't have to be profound. It just has to be writing.
Problem is, I'm a perfectionist.
Well, then I can't help you there.
Yeah, see, there's an extra problem on top of the
Yeah,
prep, on top of the already existing problem.
that is a problem. I can't help you there. I really enjoyed
Yeah,
talking to you. I hope I will put up your Instagram link on here so everybody can see where to find you, and we'll keep track of where you're going and what you're doing. And when you get your book published, so we can bring you back to come and talk to us again and lament over the world's and how terrible it is.
and maybe do an episode 2 in some years.
Yes. And where we reveal that you're a spy. Yeah.
No, not a spy.
Okay. I hope you have a great rest of your day. It's getting late here, so I'm going to start winding down my night while you get your day started.
Yes, thank you very much, and thank you for
Thank
the
you.
opportunity as well.
Oh, it was fun. I had a great time, and I will talk to you again when I harass you about making sure that you're writing. Bye.
Bye bye.